All right. Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
hey, hey. Oh, what a night. What a night.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Grant, how you going? Hey, Killer. I know I am running really late tonight. It's been interesting. I can't really say much on stream, but it's been interesting. How's everyone going? Hope everyone's been well, enjoying the night with Ozzo.
Oh, we've been having a bit of a good run, so I think that's been
You've been good?
working. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But playing by myself, well, sorry, with all my friends, I should say. All my Asian server friends were playing with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was great fun. Being
Exactly,
focused
exactly.
and
Yeah, yeah.
still getting the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, even man let me down. He got
Oh,
stuck at work, so he wasn't here.
oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
but that's all
oh,
good.
what a shame. What a shame. What a shame.
Everyone got to enjoy me being a loner.
All right. How was your last game?
um, yeah, it was interesting. I just decided to take an Omaha out just to have a quick one.
Oh,
Killed
nice.
two cruisers from my death, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I
Oh,
did my
fantastic.
job.
Really, man.
What shit
Oh,
is what
God.
shit is man saying?
Oh, I can't tell you, apparently. Because last time I got in trouble for telling you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
uh,
All right. Should probably
I
get
actually
into
got stuck at, yeah, you guys actually got stuck at work. All right. Yeah, man did get stuck at work. Anyway. Peoples, thank you
apparently.
very much for joining in to episode 2 of Ship Talk. It's going to be a very interesting night. We'll be talking about 13.8 update that's going to be released tomorrow morning for us.
Well, depends on what server you're on.
Yeah, well, we'll say Asia, but yeah.
Right now on NA, the patch is being deployed. It will
Mm-hmm.
be completed at midnight Australian Eastern Standard Time. Southeast Asia, it is being deployed between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you who play on EU, it'll be between noon and 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on September the 5th. So that is tomorrow for us. And for a reference, it is 9:30 p.m. here now. So, yeah, tomorrow evening, SEA will be updated, and so will EU. So by the time we
Correct.
play
That's
tomorrow
correct.
evening on EU,
Yep,
the update will be there.
that is correct. Also, too, guys, what we have for 2 nights, and it's a special one. We do have a few things that we'll be giving away tonight, especially for Ship Talk. I do have still a few codes left from King of the Seas. So I'll be giving a couple of codes to Ozzo right now, so he can put it onto his stream, and we'll be giving away 2 codes each for you guys to win. It's not going to be every week, but I thought, you know what, while I've still got them, let's get them out. So there will be explanation. We'll just do enter for now.
Yep.
Standard entry. All right. And it's on both of our streams, and they are signal container codes just for you guys. Enjoy. So if you want to jump into the chat on both our chats, and we'll you get you guys a chance to win these codes for tonight. And I do apologize for coming late as well. So, but like I said, it was yeah. I won't say it on stream. I'll probably say it in the Discord later on if you guys want to join in. But yeah, it's one of these. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I really can't say it. Not live anyway. All right, so 13.8. 13.8. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to jump straight into the share screen so we can just jump into the main page there. We've got a few topics to talk about tonight, as well as we'll be discussing KoTs at the end of the night as well for you all. But 13.8 is going to be a very interesting update coming up. Obviously, it's been deployed right now in the NA server, and obviously, like what Ozzy just said, the associated times for NA, Asia, and EU will be obviously coming out very soon as well. Well, let's have a look at the World of Warships 9th anniversary. Ah, what do you thought of these?
Well,
The new festive rewards. It's actually gonna be good. I think we're gonna get some good stuff out of it. But what are your thoughts on this?
it's different. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the same but different. I guess is the way it is. It's your standard. What do you say? The like the New Year's type token event. But slightly different. And the main difference here is how you earn the ability to
Mm.
take out other ships. It's not play a ship and it gets rid of it. It's based on a cumulative total of base XP this time instead for each
Per
tier.
tier. Exactly right.
So basically, rather than you playing a tier a ship and you get a certain amount of base XP, and that means you can reset 5 or 6 ships or whatever, you have to get 1,000 base XP in any tier cumulatively, and then that will give you the simultaneous reset based on the number of ships you have. So the more ships you have, the more ships you can claim the automatic prizes for straight away. And the rewards are based on the tiers. So as you can see on the screen, the anniversary rewards are festive tokens, except for super ships, which is steel. Now, the festive tokens will be able to you'll be able to get things with it. Probably the key thing here is if you actively are playing the game, you will be able to get the Rochester very easily. It doesn't matter how many ships you have, because there is also these festive rewards available in the
Mm.
battle pass, or whatever you want to call it now, event pass, that is going to be active during this time as well. And the
Yeah.
non-doubloon line will give you 4,000 festive tokens immediately, as soon as you complete that.
That's
So,
correct. That's correct. Yeah.
and if you pay doubloons, you'll get another 1,000. So if you do pay your doubloons to go the full both lines, you're going to be at 5,000, which means you need to get 1,250 extra ones. And you can see if you have any tier 10 ships, you have 2 tier 10 ships, you do 2 tier 10 ships, there's 250 straight away. It's going to be
Yeah.
very easy to complete and get that ship.
Accumulate those points. Exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly. But
So
having it in tiers, it's actually a really good idea how they've done that, especially not just having single ships. You've got to go right through.
yep.
It's actually through the actual tier process. So if you lock one particular ship and you just want to accumulate points on that ship, it gives it opportunity to actually just use that ship in that tier until you've accumulated it, and then jump to your next tier. Oh, you got your favorite ship on that? I want to play it 2 or 3 times, and I'll get that the points through that ship alone. I think it's a lot better way to do this than having, multiple ships where you've got to choose what you've got to use to accumulate those points, where you can just actually say, you know what, I really like using whatever, this main D-Day, right? For this particular tier. I'm just
Yep.
going to use it until I accumulate all those points. And I think it's a really good idea how they've done that.
I think it'll be interesting to see how it works, because I mean, realistically, I didn't myself have a problem with the previous method of doing it. You play a ship, you do well in a ship, you get to get rid of a whole heap of other ships. You don't
Mm.
do well in the ship, tough luck, you may not get enough
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This is going to be very interesting because it's a set 1,000 base XP, but it's
Hmm.
per tier, and that is the one thing there. So it's going to be per tier. So if you
Yeah.
get, thank you for the follow, 58 Chef. But if you get like 1,000 base XP in a tier 5 ship, which is it's going to work really well for the way we play, because we
Mm.
go tier 5 through to tier 10. So we're just going to get that regularly. If we get
Yeah,
1,000
yeah.
base XP game, we've got it. If we don't,
Hmm.
then the next time we go through, we'll get it.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it is, and this is something which isn't actually, I don't think it's necessarily written in here, but it was
Mm.
mentioned on the 13.8 YouTube, is it's cumulative, which means that once you get the 1,000, it continues going up.
Yes,
So
that's correct.
it doesn't start back at 0. If you've gone to 1,500, you start at 500 for the next one. So it's cumulative continuous.
Hmm.
I don't know if that means that if you get 2,000 base XP, if you get 2 lots, we're yet to see that. I assume it does, but we'll see how that all works. But basically, it just means the more base XP you get, the more that you're going to potentially be able to get rid of get the rewards for your ships in your dock.
That's
Dockyard.
correct. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, it should be interesting.
But giving the opportunity to actually get the Rochester as well. And if you have the Rochester already, they're going to give you you've got any other ship here that's available to you. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure that's how I'm reading it.
Yes. So if you already have the Rochester, there's
Yeah.
a selection of ships where they're going to give you 100% discount coupon if you've already got the Rochester to get one of those ships. Now, they have said if you have all of those ships, which there are people who do, it's 3,000 steel. Now, obviously, 3,000 steel isn't going to buy you a ship, but 3,000 steel is still nothing to laugh at. So yeah, it basically you're getting a free ship, or you're getting a lot of steel that will go towards a free ship. And yeah, as we said, the first progression of the event path has 4,000 festive tokens, and there's also anniversary daily rewards of 1,000 festive tokens. So realistically, there is no reason
So
anyone
easy to
shouldn't
get.
get the Rochester. And there's no reason that people shouldn't be able to get, for example, the permanent camouflage for the Benson if they wish, which is displayed on the screen at the moment.
Would you want that? No.
If you want it,
I don't want.
or you'll be able to get signals galore.
Yeah.
You'll be able
Yeah.
to get Aquatica tokens for the Aquatica Fair, which
Yep.
is another event which is going to be on.
Mhm.
Or there's plenty of things that you'll be able to get. Super containers, you can get 110 of them. Which, don't forget, super containers. I think it's 200 ships every 200th super container you get a ship. So getting 110 super containers, if you don't get a ship during those 110 super containers, will bring you closer to your 200th one, which will allow you to get another ship. So
Correct.
there's lots of opportunities here to get ships. There's lots of opportunities here to get super containers. It's going to be interesting to see how it works, and whether or not it is actually as good, or if it's better than the old method.
As well. So if you've got all these ships in the tier 8 lineup, you will receive 3,000 steel. So
Yes.
if you've got any of these ships that's in the tier 8 lineup, and you've already got the Rochester, then you'll be rewarded 3,000 steel instead. So at least it's look, I reckon they should at least in 5 or 10,000 steel, to be honest, because if you've got all these ships,
Absolutely.
that means you spent a lot of fucking money. So
Yeah, they should
it's
be massively rewarding you for that.
there
But
should
yeah,
be there should be a bigger reward for that. But 3,000 is 3,000, obviously.
yes.
But end of the day, yeah, look, you've got ample opportunity. If you don't have the Rochester, like it's actually a pretty good ship as well. You've got that chance to win her. But if you've already got it, well then here is all here. Lemonice, welcome, thank you. Yeah, so you've got that chance there to at least get any of other ships that you might want, maybe the Tiger 59. If anyone wants that. Hey IB, how
Well,
you going, buddy?
I mean, and here's the thing: is we're coming into a tier 8 clan battles as well, and these are tier 8 ships.
Correct.
I
Nothing stops me from doing it.
reckon we're going to see some of these ships start to appear in clan battles, because you may not be able to get it before the start of clan battles, which is on the 13th, I believe.
Yep.
It's next Wednesday, but or whatever date that is. But I think it's the 11th. But anyway,
It's the 11th, yeah.
you may not be able to get one of these ships before then, but I reckon within 2 to 3 weeks, a lot of people are going to start having some ships coming out of this, even without having to spend much. So, yeah, if you're looking for a tier 8 ship, this might be a way to go. Grind and you can get your tier 8 ship. If you don't know how to promote your game, watch Ozzo. You have a lot to learn. Thanks, Lemonitis.
I got most of those balls on Asia, maybe 3. Okay, so look at Killer here. Killer said he might have 3 left that he needs out of all those. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking at them, and I think on NA, which is the one where I've got the most ship, there's probably, yeah, I'm probably a similar situation. There's probably maybe 4 or 5 of them that I don't have, and they'd be things like the
Yeah.
Tiger 59, which are doubloon only ships, because I
Mhm.
haven't paid for doubloon only ships.
Okay.
Or like I haven't really pushed for. Yeah, if it was tier 7, it'd be a different story. I have all of them.
Correct. Yep, yep, yep.
So,
All right.
but
So now let's look at the early access to Pan American battleships. What are your thoughts, chat, on the Pan American battleships? Have you seen them? Have you heard about them? Let us know in the chats. What are your thoughts on this? Is it something you guys will be interested? There is 3 ships here. So the Iparinga, the Los Andes, and the is it Libertad?
the
You got
Libertad.
Libertad.
I mean, we're not pronouncing it correctly, so excuse that. But
Definitely 100% not.
yeah. So these.
Yes. So secondaries.
Oh, yes.
So apparently
These.
these secondaries are going to be awesome.
Well, yes and no.
Yes.
They're awesome in terms of how powerful they are.
Correct.
But if you read into it,
Which is why.
the gun ballistics are very poor. So they are going to be very hard for them to hit smaller targets like destroyers. So they're going to be great against battleships and cruisers. But yeah,
I want to see these against up, say, a Schieffelin. I want to
yes,
see what a Schieffelin and one of these ships can do, or say a GK, for example, right? Um, or we got the tier 8, so example like the Tirpitz, you know?
yes,
They're the ones I want to see, like how capable they are as if it's a good tanking ship, and obviously, if it's going to go against a DD, well, then, it's going to be shithouse. But a cruiser or a battleship at that, or at each rank, so 8, 9, and 10, is how good really are they going to be, And fair enough, you might have some good, secondaries, but main battery guns against these other ships, how good are those brawling battles actually going to be effective with them, and how would
yeah,
you use them? That's in that case there. Like with
absolutely.
the German line, you're able to actually obviously go into a brawl, and if there is a DD there, especially if you're in say example, a Schieffelin or a GK, you're not so much held back to go against them because your secondaries are just going to just keep hitting them, especially if you're in the Schieffelin, right? But how confident are you going to be to try and brawl with this ship knowingly there is, say, 1 or 2 DDs in that area? You know? Killer goes, going to be interesting to see how good these secondaries actually are. And Grant Wall goes, I've seen people playing them. If you like the Atlantico, you will love these new Pan Am BBs. There you go.
Nice. I think another thing to note on this is, and this is mentioned in the anniversary thing, is that there is a new Pan American commander coming out as well.
Mm.
The unique Pan American commander Joaquim Marquez Lisboa. So it'll be interesting to see how he works with these ships as well. So you should be able to get that if you are basically an active player. They say that you will get this. It's a free one.
Mm.
You've just got to complete the collection by participating in anniversary activities.
Oh,
So
there you
and
go.
then you'll get a
Nice.
free unique Pan American commander.
What's his?
So
Is he got any uniques that we should know about?
I'm not sure what his uniques are.
Okay,
It doesn't actually say in 13.8, but
we'll get that information once
we'll
it
get
comes
that
across. Yeah,
information, and I guess
yeah.
we'll probably talk about that in 2 weeks'
Well,
time. We
to be
might
honest,
talk
I'm
about
sure
that.
one of us is going to get it, so we'll eventually get something, and we'll give it a
Absolutely.
go. But according to Grant, he said he's already seen people playing them, so it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the
Um,
test server would have had them.
yeah, that's it. Well, I haven't done it personally, so yeah.
The new commander is going to be very good. Nice.
All right. So then now we've got the 9th anniversary event pass, which
Yes,
is pretty much what we're talking about right now.
absolutely.
The first progression line of festive tokens battle of the Paseo de Patria container, the Pan American battleship of the Iparinga. I don't know if I'm saying this right.
I have no idea either.
Iparinga as a final reward. So first progression line highlights is you get 4,000 of these festive tokens, you get 10 containers, and then you get the Iparinga. Which, you know what, I'll actually go hard on this one and actually try
Yep.
and get it. I reckon that's going to be one thing we should definitely look at. And being at tier 8, you never know, it might be a good ship for clan battles.
Yes.
So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? You guys gonna go for it? Let us know in the chat. It'll be fantastic. Don't forget, we do have the giveaways on both channels. So if you do want to enter in, it's I don't know if is it the same thing as yours, Ozo? Explanation enter on your channel as well.
Yes. Exclamation
Yep.
mark enter on mine.
Yep. That's it. Same thing for us. So if you want to join in, it is Signal Containers. So join in the chats. All right. We got what's up next?
Almirante Corto.
We
Oquendo. So
got the dockyard continues.
yeah.
I don't like these fancy camos. I've never liked it. I never liked them. I don't know.
Fair
I'm not a
enough.
fan of them. I've just never been a fan of them.
I
Honestly.
for me, the big problem with camos these days is they're useless. They make a ship look different. That's it.
Yeah, they do.
But
They do.
but they took away all the benefits, and I understand. I think this is the thing for me is it was good to take away some of the logic that they had on the camos because they didn't make sense to be on a camo. Why the hell would camo give you benefits in base XP? Why the hell would it give you all these other things? It made no sense why half of the stuff was
Look,
there, but taking
I've-
away things like the concealment.
That's what I was going to say now. The
Why?
camos should be only for concealment. That is it. That is the main point of a camo is concealment, and that is it. You get
Yep.
concealment points percentage. And that's it. Like it goes from literally from 1% all the way. I'll actually go to even like 15% concealment, depending on how high you want to go. And you can imagine, right, having a really good concealment camo on whatever, like a battleship or a DD or so forth, right? It's giving you that bigger option to work with. And I don't think they should have removed the concealment part of that camo, and that's it. So that's how that's my point on it. You know, it shouldn't give you anything else. It shouldn't give you speed. It shouldn't give you any other stats bar a huge concealment thing. Because if you don't want concealment, fair enough, don't use it. But if you want to have concealment, well then that's it. It's on the camo. Like you think about it, right? If this had, and my issue is in particular, right? Concealment should have been on particular camos, not like this one. Obviously, you can see this, you know, from 10,000 miles away, or that stupid fucking
Those
scorpion on the
fluoro
Yamato.
ones.
No, on the Yamato.
All those
That
fluoro
massive,
ones.
all the
that-
fluoro ones. Yeah, yeah. Then you, like those ones there, right? 1% concealment. That's it.
Yep.
That's all you're gonna get out of them. You know, but if you get like the proper ones, you know, obviously the ones they used to use, you know, back in the World Wars, then yes, because they obviously did work. They did reflect, and that's the whole point
Yes.
of the concealment. It was reflection of the water, reflection of the sky, or
But-
so forth, or regardless, you know. But yeah,
But I do kind of agree that the way that they were, or the way that you get them through doubloons and things like that wouldn't make sense either, because it does make it a pay to win concept. And we really should be setting it up so that it's what do you say, allowing it to be more of a normal credit purchase like other things, for you to get basic camos if you don't have a camo on a ship.
what do you mean pay to win though? So how's that pay to win? I don't understand that part.
If you have to use doubloons to buy stuff, then it means
Mm.
you have to pay money to get doubloons, unless you've got lots of doubloons.
Yeah.
So then it's paid. It's paid to improve your concealment.
Well, that's just some part of the game though. Like concealment can come from anywhere, right? And look, there was concealment back then where it was you can get it from in game or you can buy it. Right? One just looked better than the other, but the actual stats were both the same.
Yep.
So if you had concealment of say whatever, I'm saying 10% concealment, right? And it was in game, but it looked like dog shit. And then it was 10% concealment and it was a doubloon, but it made your ship look awesome, right? Or you know whatever it is, right? Even if this thing even had the concealment part, which I don't agree with, that is your choice. That's how I seen it. But as long as the percentages were the same and you were able to have 10% on each side, then it's just an option that, all right, I want this fancy concealment, I want this fancy camo, but it's going to give me 10% concealment regardless.
I think the problem is that before you used to have to pay doubloons to get the better concealment. Like the better concealment costs
That
money.
I don't agree with. Yeah, I understand
and that
yeah.
shouldn't exist. But I do think that taking concealment off camos makes them null and void in the game. And it
Sure
means
does.
that when there are events on that you can get camos, I don't give a crap. Because
They
why
literally turn it into
would I
Fortnite.
bother about a camo?
They turn it into Fortnite.
Yeah.
Look, it's just a skin,
It's
really.
a skin. Yep.
It doesn't improve your gameplay. It doesn't improve anything of your stats. It's literally just a skin for your ship.
Absolutely.
Do you want to go out with a rusted ship, or do you want to go out with something with, gold plated that, in real life, with one shot would have destroyed this whole front of the ship? So it's just, I don't know. What do you guys think in chat? Do you guys agree with the concealment part? They should have stayed with the camo, or do you think that it was just null and void? According to Just, they did that just to take away the concealed, just to get a prettier ship for your credits now in good change. I sold every single. Every camo that I get, if I don't like it, I sell it straight away. I ended up getting millions from all the camos that I had.
Yeah, I sell any camo that I can sell. And I only get permanent camos if I get permanent camos. They're by consequence, not by choice. So yeah, that's the only reason I have a camo on a ship is because I have a free permanent camo. But anyway, it is what it is. They've made their decision. I think there are people obviously who will still pay money for it, but I would have paid money for permanent camos in some instances for ships that I wanted to play regularly if it gave me something. And so they've actually lost out on a potential revenue there. I would definitely there are events that I probably would participate in that I don't participate in because that doesn't give me anything. But that's a decision they've made. Let's move on to operations, shall we?
We shall. So 13.8 will bring changes to the operations. These changes will affect the Defense, Naval, Newport, Raptor Rescue, and Ultimate Frontier Hearns, Aegis, and Cherry Blossom. And we have expanded the range of the tiers that can participate in these 6 operations. Now you can be able to bring from tier 6 all the way to tier 8 ships, including super ships, into the battle.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I have a little bit more information on this. So it's not just changing the range that they've done. They're also changing the mechanics of how it calculates the actual operations. So the concept is that it's going to be one tier up or down. And if you're in a div, you can be one tier up or down. But you will be assumed that you're the top of that tier. So if you take a tier 10 and somebody else takes a tier 9, you're a tier 10 div. What the matchmaker will then do is it calculates, basically, from my understanding of what I've heard about it, is that it will calculate based on the ships that are in the matchmaking, what ships and what complexity the actual operation should be. And so in the end, what they're going to do is, like, if you're tier 10, it's going to be harder than the tier 8 version of the operations. So they're going to scale it to suit the tier of ships. And that's really, I think, what was holding them up. So while
are they mixing it up though?
Are they mixing it up? What do you, in what way?
So are you going to have between tier 6 to tier 8 ships within the same operations, or is it just tier 10s?
No, so you mean on the enemy, or as in the bots, or
the actual.
It's only 2 tiers. So it'll be like it'll be tier 9 and 10, it'll be tier 10 and super, it'll be tier 6 and 7, tier 7 and 8, but you might end up with just straight tier 10 or straight tier 6 or straight. But based on that is how it's going to calculate what it needs to send out. And I think that's what was taking it so long for us to get to the point where we would have tier 10s, because they could control it between tier 6 and tier 8 to have it that this is how hard it's going to be. But once you expand it to a larger range, it's too easy at tier 10, but if you make it suit tier 10, then it's too hard for tier 6. And so that was the balance. And I understand some of these operations weren't tier 6 to 8 to begin, but we'll see how it all goes. And see if it actually works. I'm sure that there'll be plenty of people trying it out. I know there's some streamers out there who really focus on operations. So we'll
Yeah.
get to see very quickly whether it
Oh,
works. And
definitely trying it out. For sure. Tier 10s,
oh yeah.
GK for
Uh,
sure. All right, just this quickly. I've just, for some reason, it's gone into an ad break and I couldn't stop it. So, yeah, just give me
I'll,
a few seconds on my side, if you don't mind.
roger that.
Yep, just before we do that, so we're going to go to French destroyers now.
Yes. I see that Gunn was wondering if super ships will give positive income, but I don't know, Gun. I don't know.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining back. Sorry, I couldn't stop that ad. Look, it's going to be interesting regardless, and I think
Absolutely.
in that case, there we should embrace it. Really, having all up right up the super ships. Why not have operations where you can have tier 10s and super ships and whatever, even tier 9s, tier 8s, tier 7s. But having tier 10s and super ships in those things, yep, 100%. Just 1 second. Well, welcome as well. So, thanks for the follow, Matt Vid Demet 6. I hope I said that right.
Thank you for the follow, Grant. Why?
There you go. Yeah, he's on mine as well. From reports of people testing them on the PTS, only if you put a large credit boosters on them. Okay.
Fair enough.
There you go. Yeah, because Gunn was saying, I wonder if you're playing super ships in ops, you'll result in positive credit income. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's definitely going to be good, and you know what? It's something for us as well. Look, all of us can join in. If we don't have to do randoms all the time, we can just jump in a div. There's a few of us there, and going in with tier 10s, I'm pretty sure that we are more than well and capable enough to actually, get these operations done.
I think there'll be a lot of people trying it out early on, and then it'll probably die back a bit, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, exactly right. Exactly right.
All right.
So, French destroyers leave early access. So, early access of the Le Droit, Duchenfault, Lahari, Livergenture, and the Orage. Is it the Orage?
And the Cassard, and I think that's the
And the
important
Cassard.
one
The
because
Cassard, everyone's looking for.
you could, in theory, get most of the others without spending during the early access.
Poor man.
Or you can do a man and spend doubloons and get a Cassard.
Hey, it was
Now
good.
it was good.
Was good.
It was good. Yes. But now you'll be able to go and get the Cassard by doing the tech tree from it after this update. So you'll be seeing myself, for example, definitely playing the French destroyer line, so either I can get up to the Cassard, especially on the NA server. But on the Asia server, I probably will be as well, because that's definitely looks like a good ship to have. Yeah, we'll go from there.
She sure was, man. She sure was. Mangoes, it was worth it for CBs. So I haven't personally. Look, I'm not a DD player, so for me, this isn't sort of my forte regarding to these ships. So for yourself, man, and anyone else out there as well in chat, what are your thoughts on the actual French DD line? So I can't really comment because I don't play them. I'm not a DD player. So for yourself, I was like, what are your thoughts on the DD line for the French DD line?
I would say, from my perspective, I think they're a bit weaker at the lower tiers. They're a little bit harder to play, just because of that torp. The lower tiers, you have the torp concealment differentiation. So they've got obviously higher concealment because they're French DD. And then as you get down, because the torps, as you go lower tiers, the torp range is a lot less. They're a lot harder to play. Now, there's a lot of DDs that are like that. The one advantage that they do have is that normally their guns are better than a lot of other destroyers, but they don't have things like your smoke screens and stuff to be able to get away. I feel like a lot of the other French cruisers, destroyers at the lower tiers are going to be very similar, but at the higher tiers is where they start to shine.
So this is my question. So in the higher tiers, what are the key aspects of the French line compared to
the other?
So these ships, these ships are more gunboats, correct?
No, they're torp boats. These ones.
They're torp boats. So these are torp boats.
Yep. So the other French lines are
more
Japanese
line. So the Japanese versus the French. What in perspective has the French line got a positive or negative with the Japanese line?
So they have well, it depends on the tier, obviously, but the Cassard, for example, has a longer range for its torps.
Mm-hmm.
They're decent speed. The gimmick with the Cassard is that after you get over a certain range, and I can't remember off the top of my head what that range is,
Man would know if you
they
know, man.
start
Yep.
they start to lose
Oh yes, they
points.
do.
So they've got a
Yeah.
massive initial damage.
Yep.
That if they hit, they really hurt. But
Yeah.
after you
Yeah.
get past a certain point, that starts decreasing as it goes down. What was the range that the Cassard torps start to lose their damage?
So I understand how I understand this is what sort of gets me right. How
6.5.
does
6.5.
how does a torp lose its yield,
I
right?
thought it was 8.5 or 9.5, but that's okay.
All right, so it's a question, right? What will they make a torpedo, right? Lose its yield right, at a certain distance. This is stupid. I don't
Um,
agree with that.
Yeah, I mean they've that's what they've done for it anyway. But the range of these torps is a hell of a lot further than
Mm,
other French. I'm pretty sure it starts losing its range at around about the point that the Kleber torps have a maximum range. But they
right.
keep
Okay.
going, and that's basically what it is. These torps go further than both Kleber and Marceau. It has the
Mm-hmm.
same amount of torps on each side. It
Yep.
has similar, or I think it has a quicker, maybe a quicker reload speed than the
Mm-hmm.
Kleber and the Marceau. It has Marceau
Right.
guns, but one less turret. Um, and it's slower to fire than the Marceau. But that's basically what it is. It's a mixed Marceau Kleber with longer range torps that have a diminishing return of value after a certain amount of range.
All right, so
Now,
there's a question.
and
There's a question here. Listen to this. Listen to this.
yep,
So you got MTN199 said if you're using the fuel as an explosive agent, that could cause a lesser explosion.
yep.
You actually think that's their thought of mine that will give you more range, right? Because it's of the fuel that's got to get to its target. With less fuel inside the actual torpedo itself, or wherever it's going to be causing by, it's going to give you less. It's going to give you less yield. That's actually I never thought of that.
I would actually argue that all torps should do something like that because
Mm,
if you think about it realistically, torps in the game just stop. In reality, when the torp runs out of fuel, it isn't going to stop dead and go, oh shit, I've got no fuel.
mm,
It's going to have some momentum that's going to keep it going for a little bit. And
mm,
during that little bit, it's probably not going to be as impactful.
mm.
So,
So it's
you
pretty much
know,
just like at the end. Like,
yep,
I'll give
there's
you
pretty
whatever's
much,
left.
oh shit, I'm out of fuel. Done. But
Um,
yeah,
that's
I,
that is maybe an idea,
well,
and that could be the thing that they may have thought of. Like, all right, well, if you're within 5 kilometers, you're literally done. Like,
but
gone, finished. You know.
it's 7 kilometers on, okay, Cassard max damage is at 7 kilometers. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Um, But I
that's not
mean,
bad.
it doesn't decrease that much after that point anyway. But you should be aware Cassard's detect is lower than the other French DDs, but it's also
Right.
slower than the other French DDs. But it has a speed boost that can bring it up to that up to them for a temporary time. And
Yeah.
that's the thing is, so it's got give and takes.
So
I
there's
think
massive pros and cons with it and against it as well.
Yes. I think though we're talking about the changing in damage of torps. You could go to
Mm,
subs and say, how the hell does a sub torp cause less damage when you're closer, than when you're further away? But they've done it in the game. And they
mm,
did it because they didn't want people to be able to shotgun. Um,
mm,
and I think there was a comment earlier on about, I wish they'd fix subs. I think that I kind of agree with that. I think that some of the stuff they did with subs is stupid. Like the U45I1 was a hardship to be able to drop depth charges on when it came out
mm,
because it was faster, more maneuverable,
mm-hmm.
and was just stupid. the buff that they gave subs to counter the fact that they were much easier to detect and that there were now ships with submarine surveillance was they made them faster and more maneuverable.
Yeah.
But they did that to every sub, including the U4501, which was already a hard sub to hit, is virtually impossible to hit if he's doing maneuvering now, because you can't guess which direction he's going to go. And he can change on a pinhead, basically.
I know. I've seen it before. Like you'll drop your planes and like you're done, and all of a sudden it just goes zoop, and turns over. I'm like, you're done.
He's a kilometer away from where you dropped it. Even though there is realistically no one should be able to change that. So, but anyway, that's a whole different gripe, and hopefully they don't do a similar thing with that to CVs where they nerf it in one way and then buff it in another way to make it even more stupid.
Correct.
So
let's go from obviously most of you guys have probably seen this already, but let's just go for the ships. So we've got the tier 5 here. We've got the tier 6, the Dushafalt. I've seen this ship. I've seen it a few times now. Lahadi. So bar from the tier 10, right? Which one will be the one that you like the most?
Of these French ones?
Yeah, the French ones. Yeah. Have you played any of them so far or not?
Okay. Yes. I think Man said it right. From tier 5 to tier 7, they're nothing special. Right. They're just like a lot of the other DDs and at those tiers. Really. They have the shorter torps. The detect is nothing special. At tier 5, I'd say they're probably one of the hardest. Although I've seen some people do incredible stuff with those ships. But it's just you're more in a what do you say? Harder mode to play. So yeah. Anyway, I think that from tier 8 to onwards, they get good.
So those torpedo yields, that goes right through from tier 5 to tier 10.
I think it goes from tier 8 to tier 10.
Okay. All right.
I think because the torps don't go far enough in the lower ships.
Okay.
But yeah, it's.
Right. I think it's enough on the Frenchies at the moment. Clan battles season 27. Tier 8 peoples. It's going to be very, very interesting here. So 13.8 introduces a new clan battles code name ASP or ASIP. 7 versus 7 at tier 8 ships. There is restrictions. So only battleships, destroyers, and cruisers allowed. No more than one battleship per team. Now, here we go. These are the restricted ships coming in. So, was Nebraska there before? Yeah, it was. Nebraska, Lenin, and Vlad are the battleships that you cannot take on, or the ships you cannot bring in at all. They have been banned.
Yep.
Now, one per team is the Cherbourg, Bayard, and the Congress. Then you've got the Cossack B, the Kid, and the Shukwe. And then that's 2 per team, I should say. And then 2 per team is the Le Fantastic, Le Terrible, the Kiev, and the Split. Are you going to see a lot of Baltimores in the cruiser lines? Or, it's going to be very interesting. Having one Cherbourg, one Bayard, and even the Congress. I don't know if you guys saw the stream last night, but yeah, the Congress can do a fair bit of damage, even against tier 8s.
I think you can see Cleveland's. I think you'll see Cleveland's as well. Yeah. Talons maybe a little bit. If you want radar, those are going to be the ones that people go for. I think there's some tier 8 battleships with radar, if I remember correctly. So we might see some of them.
There is.
I can't remember. But yeah, we'll probably see some of them. It's good to see that the hybrid got banned. Borodino, yeah. So, but I'm not. What does bug me is the fact that the Vladdy is banned. Again, we're going to the point where we're banning a tech tree ship, and we're doing a tier 8 for the first time in a long time, and instantly a tech tree ship is banned. Um,
Do you
and
disagree banning the Nebraska?
Nebraska should be banned. Hybrids and
Thank you.
CVs do not belong in, and I can completely agree with that. But for me, hybrids don't belong as a battleship. They belong as a different type of ship. They are not a hybrid. Sorry, they're not a
So,
battleship,
have its
and they're
own
not a
line?
CV. They need to
So
be their own line. Yep,
Own line, yeah.
yep. Because
Yeah.
they're not a battleship and they're not a CV.
Yeah.
They are something else, and they need to be done that way so that matchmaking also takes that into account. Because I'm sick and
Yeah.
tired of going into battles where one side has 3 hybrid ships and a CV, and the other side has a CV, and that's it. It's ridiculous. It really is. And so they need to be matched, because obviously matchmaking isn't matching ship name to ship name. Like a masser on one side and a masser on another side. How many games do you go into with 3 massers on one side and none on the other?
Correct.
Like, it's just crazy. But so
what are your thoughts on the linen? What are your thoughts on the linen?
I mean,
Getting
Vlad,
banned on the linen. Banning the 2 Russian ships.
I don't have a problem necessarily with a premium ship being banned, because premium ships are not something. They're something which is harder for people to get anyway, potentially, and they're also normally, well, they may be a little bit overpowered. Tech tree ships. I'm sorry. If a tech tree ship is overpowered, it was the same with the Petro last season. If a tech tree ship is overpowered to the point where you have to ban it because it's creating problems in clan battles, then maybe it should be a message that you got to do something with that ship. So yeah. And I see that Vlad was used so much last tier 8 season, but we haven't had a tier 8 season in like 18 months.
Yeah, that's right.
So
even killer guys, even the game.
Yeah.
So
Go
yeah,
ahead.
killer guys, even in the gameplay, radar wise and hybrids are always unstacked matches.
Absolutely.
Like, it's true.
Yep.
And that's exactly what, as I said now, like we've gone against them so many times. We had it last night. Where we had hybrid ships just chasing us, running it, just flying around, just literally just spotting us most of the time. The carrier, the CV was on one side of the map. We had the hybrid ship on our side of the map, so we were literally being seen the whole entire game until obviously I would say 2 minutes when he can launch his planes.
Mind you, saying that, once the CV change comes in, the hybrids are going to probably be a less impactful. Yeah, balanced department.
Is that the same? Is it the same with the hybrids though? Does it work the same as the CVs? I haven't read any of that yet or seen any of that yet. You would think they would.
I think they have to do it against. They'd have to do it against the hybrids as well. If they don't do it against the hybrids, it's silly. So
yeah, 100% agree on that. Yeah, if they should do it. They should do it. All right, guys, quickly, we are going to do the first giveaway for the code we've got here. Give me 1 second.
All right.
All right. So signal containers, you can do. I'll do mine first. If you don't mind.
Yep, absolutely.
Give me 1 second. If you haven't joined in, must be following, please, as well. All right. And the winner is MTN 199 on my channel. Congrats. Just send me a message on Twitch and I'll get that code to you straight away. You got the code, yeah?
Yep. Apparently, I'm in an ad break at the moment.
Oh, are you?
I didn't realize.
Okay, thank you very much for the follow, but I'm actually trying to work out how to actually say that name.
What is it? F11 Albert K and
yeah. So it's Albert Kandoshogorchik. Thank you so much for the follow. I know I just fumbled that up, but thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it.
All right.
You back in now?
16 seconds.
Okay, that's all right. Well, we can wait. We can wait.
And then we'll do my giveaway.
Yep. All right. And then we'll have one more until the end of the show.
Okay. I'm just gonna do the prize while we stay on this screen, guys. So we're gonna do it now because the time has ended for that. So get ready, guys, and let's do a prize draw.
That's it.
Grand
I've got one.
Seasoner, please say something in chat.
Well done. All right, so
And this
mine
is
has
for
started up again.
a code, guys.
Yes, signal container. All right, so mine's restarted again. If you can do exclamation mark enter,
All right.
you guys can join in.
All right, Seasoner, whisper me in Twitch, and I'll send you a code. This was for a code. These ones.
All right, so next up we've got brawls. 4v4 tier 9s. Only battleships can participate. Divisions up to 4 players. I reckon we should definitely do this.
I think it'll be interesting. Only battleships tier 9. I'd like to take the Jean Bart out in that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be interesting to take the Marlborough out, but I don't think it's going to be very effective in a 4v4 brawl. But it might be fun to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's something we should be looking at. Even just sort of mixing it up. Obviously, both Oz and I, most of the time, we do actually end up streaming together. So yeah, if you guys want to join into that, I think we should look at doing even div nights for operations and div nights for even for brawls as well. Sometimes, obviously, how many times we've gone to obviously in a div and there's 4 players, so we split the div up 2 on 2. Instead of going randoms, we'll just do a few brawls at the same time. So yeah, it's definitely something we can definitely look at. But going tier 9s and all battleships, it's going to be interesting.
The only hard part about it is going to be with clan battles on. We're going to be doing a lot of clan battles, so there's not going to be a lot of time for other things. But we'll do that. We can do that anyway. At other times, so we might look at some longer streams or alternative streams. Maybe we'll bring back Friday streams or something. And do that. But we'll do some announcements of what we're doing. We also need to work out what server most people would be interested in doing it on.
That's it.
As well.
We can rotate it anyway. Yeah, we can definitely rotate that. We definitely rotate that. So ranked battle starts tomorrow at September 5th at 3 a.m. It's going to be the same thing. So tier 6 to tier 7 and bronze. Silver is from tier 8 to tier 9 and gold is tier 10. I've almost got into silver. I was 1 star off, and then it reset an hour later.
I've gotten to gold once, but it was a lot of work. But that was because I was doing it on NA server, and the time just doesn't work. 6v6 in bronze. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it.
It was 7v7. Okay, yeah. So it's 6v6 this season.
Yeah.
Instead of 7v7. All right.
In all honesty, it doesn't make much of a difference anyway. If it's 6v6 or 7v7.
It just means you've got five Muppets you're playing with instead of 6.
Do you know what? You took fucking words exactly out of my mouth. It's literally the Muppet teams. And if I was going to dedicate myself into ranked, I would love to have, one of the guys that actually do play a lot, to try and just div it and try and get into it. Like just drop sync it and try and get into it.
I would love to be able to div and ranked, to be honest. I understand it's an individual thing, but sorry, it's just so annoying when you come up with people who just I don't even have words for it.
I don't have words for it as well. Yeah, they're literally just a bunch of Muppets, and you don't get that. You can't enjoy it.
You love carrying in ranked, Obi?
Oh, look, there is sometimes where you obviously you're winning it and you do carry the games, and it's true. But like if you get too far, it's just ridiculous, and I get over it. I literally got over it. I still play it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My big problem, Obi, has always been with it is to do it on NA. The NA ranked time block is not suitable to when I can play the game. And that has always been the biggest issue, is that the ranked time slot, it ends at around about an hour after I would normally start playing. And so I get an hour of ranked. It means that the only time I can really do ranked is on a weekend. And that means that I don't have enough time to do things before it resets. On EU, yeah, fair enough. Anyway,
So yeah, Justin goes, I play ranked all the time. It's hard at the player base gets worse as the higher you go up.
Yep.
And then also Killer goes, I once got as low as gold rank 3. Well done. And Gun goes bang goes AFK is a kind of description. Justin goes, the queue times get longer for gold waited 10 minutes on stream.
well, I also
Wow.
got somebody who said, just remember, if all the bad players stopped playing, the queues would be 25 minutes long. You know the crazy thing about that is last night we were queued on the Asia server. How many players was it that were actually logged into the Asia server last night when we were playing?
9,700.
9,700 people were logged into the server, and yet we were getting double up tiered games constantly.
I've got an answer for it. They're in the port.
They're in the they're just sitting in the port. Oh god,
that's it. They're all sitting there.
But we weren't waiting long for the games. That was the even more annoying thing. It was like sitting there. It's like 30 seconds in a game, double up tier, and it's just like, why? Like, I'm sorry. I when I first started playing this game, I'm sure that double up tiered and all that sort of stuff was one of the rarest things to get in the game.
Oh,
now it's almost
100%.
like it just goes, oh yeah, we're going to double up tier everyone, or we're going to double tier everyone. So you know, but anyway, it is what it is.
It's all the bots running co-op.
It's all the bots. Oh, shoot. Well, I mean, I swear there's not that number when I log into like EU or NA though. We don't. There's not 9,000 people, and yet I get way less double up tiers or CVs and things on other servers, and it's like what? But I mean, I know I've been in the queue before, and there's been like 100 ships, 100 battleships, like 60 cruisers, 70 destroyers on the Asia server in the queue, and it's like, how? How is there so many ships in the queue? It's like, surely as soon as it's got the right quota of your tier of ships, it can go, oh cool, I've got 24 ships that fit the criteria of being that tier. I'll put them together. It'll be fair. We'll go, oh, come on.
It's too, now it's too hard. It's just, we're never going to go there.
I'm asking too much, aren't I?
Exactly. You're asking too much. Thanks for the follow. It'd be much appreciated.
All right.
Expedition to the North Pole. I haven't read much on this one yet.
So this one here is in preparation for the new year. So starting in 13.8 and until 13.11, there is, you get, basically what's going to happen is in 13.8, 13.9, and 13.10, you're going to get a combat mission in each of them. Now, this combat mission, my understanding, is a chain that you cannot do after that. So you've got to do it in each of the different ones as they become available. You'll be able to collect prizes for it at the very end of the event. So you need to do 13.8, you need to do 13.9, you need to do 13.10, and then there will be a final 4th event, which is only available for a couple of days. From the back of that, on December the 1st, when you come back to the game on December the 1st, you'll be able to get some festive permanent camouflage, and you'll be able to pick one of 5 tier 8 ships, including the North Carolina as a gift. But basically, you've got to do this, and the more you earn, the more you get. If you do more, then the gift can get upgraded to being a tier 10 ship. So I don't know what happens if you've got all the ships that they have available for you, but this is basically what it is. We'll probably get a bit more information on it in the future, but basically, yeah, you've got to do this expedition to the North Pole in 13.8, 13.9, and 13.10, plus the short one that'll happen probably. Well, it looks like maybe not 13.11. It looks like it's going to happen earlier because it looks like the last one will be only available for a couple of days. 13.11 surely is coming in December, but December 1st is when you get your prizes. So I'm assuming it's going to happen. It's not fully clear on all of that. But basically, I think just keep an eye out for these expedition to the North Pole mission chains and make sure you get them and do them. We'll probably find more out of that, and we'll announce more of that in future ship talks as well. You better
Yeah,
grind to
so
that
Gun
shit by
Goes
the time.
Bangos,
Yep.
yeah, uh, Gun Goes Bangos, didn't they have this, the Pahaski for this expedition last year? I didn't do it. I
Probably.
didn't get it. Yeah. Um, Justin, will you be able to grind to that ship by the time the event ends? Well, I'm
Probably.
guessing you should be able to, depending on
But
what you do with
but will you be able to grind to 5 ships?
it.
Because it's 5 available. But anyway, we'll see more of it when it comes out. And we'll definitely talk more about this, I'm sure, in the near future, because this is going
Yeah,
to continue going.
sure is,
Um,
sure is. So the Armory has the new release update 13.8, a new cruiser, the Surveyor, will become available to the Armory. Players will be able to obtain the Surveyor for 30,000 steel. The Surveyor is a hypothetical design of a light cruiser armed with the dual-purpose automatic 152mm guns and enlarged version of the Swedish Trekanor class cruisers. The ship is named the Modern Surveyor, the national symbol of Sweden, and it's of the country itself, inheriting the name of from a coastal defense battleship that was served in the Royal Swedish Navy from 1800s to 1930s. I haven't seen this ship. I have seen this ship. I don't have it. Apparently, it's got very similar repair parties to the Ragnar, surveillance radar as well, and smoke generator. All these consumables have a short range, action, and reload time respectively. However, along with the unique set of tools, the Surveyor has a small HP pool, weak armor, and poor main battery range. Why the hell would you get it?
I think the crazy thing about this ship for me, and the whole like European line of
Mm,
ships, is how many of these freaking ships are Swedish?
a
Why
lot.
why don't we have a Swedish line instead of a European line? Or a Swedish line and then a European line separate for all those other individual use cases. Because
Yeah.
most of these are Swedish, if not all. And here's another example of we're chucking another Swedish ship in. It's like, okay.
They could have chosen any other
And
country.
and if anyone says, "Oh yeah, but they're part of Europe," well, so is the Netherlands.
Mm,
So is Germany. But here's the
Denmark.
other thing: is the when these ships were supposed to be placed for,
Mm,
there was no such thing as like the European Union or any of that
mm,
stuff. It was all individual countries. And
mm.
especially, there you go, gun goes bang. Especially when Sweden was neutral in both world wars.
That's exactly what I was going to
Like,
say. You took it out of my mouth. I was waiting for you to start. I'm
why?
like, you know what? Where did all these fucking ships come from when they were literally neutral?
Yeah, exactly. So
What are they protecting?
they're protecting. Yeah, well, they probably did have all these ships, actually, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But yes, Sweden's always been very neutral until more recent. And thank you for the follow, emo giraffe. Welcome from
That's
Europe,
it.
from Egypt. Awesome, awesome.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. All right,
Um,
so that's the Surveyor. Now, I actually want to skip this bit, but if you want to talk about it, you're more than fucking welcome to
I
talk about it.
I do want to say one thing. I'm pretty sure we're pronouncing this very wrong, and I'm pretty
What's it?
sure that even with my Swedish, which I do speak some Swedish, I would not be able to pronounce this because I'm pretty sure that this is going to have a weird sound to it, just because of the fact that it's the S and V together. But
All right,
yeah,
my
I don't think
opinion.
any of us are ever going to pronounce it correctly. I just wanted to say that though. Um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For those of you who did
Oh, one
start,
second,
who
one second, one second. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it now. One second. Sorry to cut you off.
okay, I'm going to say it now.
All right, it's Zvia. That's what
Svea.
it is.
Okay. Yep.
Zvia.
Svea. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
Zvia. Zvia.
Svea. Okay. Yep.
Z-
I
Yeah.
knew it was.
It's
I knew it
literally,
was
it's literally, it's literally how it's fucking spelled. Zvia.
Svea. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think this is going to be as much of a disappointment as the Star Trek one. For those who did the Star Trek one, and it's basically a couple of captains with some sounds. And unless they actually got the actual actors who played these characters, you're going to be very disappointed probably with the sounds. So
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I got Grant Wise saying Cowabunga dudes, and then Gun Goes Bang goes Ninja Turtles today, Smurfs tomorrow.
Well, maybe they should do the Muppets, because then we can
Oh,
have
for
everyone sounding
fuck's-
like Muppets, and they actually are Muppets.
Oh god. All right, I'm sitting up.
Anyway.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think we can move on from that. It's a couple
Thank
of
you.
commanders and a couple of permanent camouflages.
Thank you
If you
very
want
much.
them, then we won't judge you, but I'm sure you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah. All right. So there is going to be a few changes coming with the content additions and changes to 13.8. So introduces the following: added the Dragon Moon flag, the blessings from Jade Rabbit patch, the Chinese character Wu in patch as well. They've added the Blossoms Under the Moonlight permanent camouflage for the Cleveland. God sakes, I hope no one has that one. With the start of the
My
update,
eyes.
the start of the update, 13.8 German cruisers premium containers, Soviet era containers, and Soviet era premium containers will be automatically opened for all players who have opened or who have them on their accounts. This way, players will obtain the current items from the containers before the containers receive content changes to 13.9.
Huh?
Changes will be made to the content of the Colorful Regatta premium containers. Also, all slots that previous provided colorful tokens will now provide credits instead. The exact amount that will check your dedicated page once 13.8 has been released. So we'll know more about that tomorrow.
Okay, so that basically means if you've been hoarding German cruiser premium containers, Soviet era containers, or Soviet era premium containers, looking at you,
Yeah.
man, then they are going to be open to you when you open the game in 13.8 automatically. You're not going to be able to wait and open
Hoard
them
them.
anymore
You can't hoard them.
because
Yeah.
because they're changing them in 13.9.
Okay. So with the ships, we've got the Pan American destroyers La Pampa, tier 10, I should say. Japanese aircraft carrier Shinano in tier 10. The American submarine Archerfish, I should say, have been added to the testing by developers, volunteers, and community contributors. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm actually going to open this one up. Hopefully it does open up. Yeah, it does. So the upcoming update for 13.8 will also update the pizza requirements for the game. So they've actually updated what your minimum requirements, minimum, medium, and maximum requirements for the game. So if you're running on minimum, these are the minimum specs you should be running it on AMD and Intel. They're recommended. So this is pretty much, they're saying, look, you shouldn't have anything less than this. So it's the i5 10400 at 2.9 and AMD 5 3600. So full HD, you're looking with the 8700 at a minimum and the Ryzen 5 3600. And you've got full 4K premium Bloom is the 8700K with the Ryzen 3600. Now, most of you guys, I'm pretty sure in this chat or anywhere around the world in particular, would not be running at a minimum spec, R7 240 or a GT 640 or even in the Intel HD UHD 630. I'm pretty sure most of you guys here will be running at a minimum spec of these two here. So full HD, RTX 2060, 5700X XT, or 3060 Ti or 6800 XT. What are your thoughts on this? Is this going to be an issue for you guys, or are you pretty much saying, you know what, I'm within full spec here, I'm good to go? Or as Justin Scott, a 1060?
I
Do you really
think
have a 1060, Justin?
I think that I think that this is going to negatively impact anyone who has bought a computer that could just what do you say, barely do it at a low level. And there are people like that. There are people who want to play this game and just play it for fun, but can't afford to go out there and splurge to have massively modern things. I know people who have lower level things.
Like 1050.
So yeah. But like, yeah, I because I know people who buy like their budget's like $300 $400 to buy a computer.
Mm.
And $300-$400 is not going to get you a lot of these things. Like a Ryzen 5 recommended 3600.
I'll be straight up. Most of these, look, if you guys want to talk, I'll talk very minimal about this. This is probably like obviously my part of the expertise in this area. All of these specs here, from even the full HD to these ones now, right? Even in the second-hand market, you'll get something very similar to it at a very, it's not even budget breaking price. Everyone's got this thing in their head. Obviously, are they going for, if we're going to go for Intel, for example, going for 4070 or 4080, even 4090, it is 100% not required. Tell you all straight out, as you guys can see in my spec list, I am still running a 3090 and I'm still running a 5950X. Probably the height of when I was doing PC419 in my tech reviews, I would have upgraded by now for sure with my review samples, but I'm still running 3 generations behind, when 2 generations behind NVIDIA GPU and CPU, and it is still, touch wood, running fine with not a problem.
I think
A lot of
I think the problem is there's a lot of computers available that are not within these specs that people think are good because they're advertised as gaming PCs that are not going to meet this, and that's where the problem comes in. If they
that's
don't
the
know
issue.
what they,
Yeah.
if you don't understand your computer specs, and therefore you're out there just trying to get something, it's very highly likely that this is going to hurt some of those people.
Yeah.
So
But you can buy budget PCs now. I'm talking about even anything with $1,000.
Mhm.
It's not within, like, I've seen $1,200 PCs, even $1,300 PCs with the minimum spec here. So the full HD spec with the current, say even a 3060 or whatever it is, right? At that low price, brand new, I'm talking about. So if they're talking about brand new, anything that's on Marketplace or so forth, don't hesitate in regard to it. If you get a receipt, you've got 3 to 5 years on most GPUs already on with warranty, and that's
yes,
pretty much all it is. So it depending on where you go with it, obviously, and what you're playing. If you're playing at 1080, right, the recommended specs is fine. So if you're running at, say, 1440, then you go for full HD. And honestly, full HD will run on a 1440 monitor. 4K monitors, right? You're gonna have to go at least a 3060 Ti to 3070. And they're not even, this has just been updated, and they're not even inquiring about anything of the 4000 series or 4000 series in NVIDIA, and even the 7000 series AMD. They are just going by 2 previous generation GPUs here. So that's how far they can actually make the game still look good with the previous generation GPUs, much previous. So yeah, and I've ran this on. Look, I can run World of Warships on my ROG Alley with no problems whatsoever, right? And it still looks great too. So the game doesn't need much to run, right? It depends what you're running with it on top of that. If you're streaming and doing other things with that, you need something that's going to sort of beef it up. So you just have to be in full mind on on your current specs at the moment. And it all depends on literally the screen you're using. That is the main thing. So if you're just running at 1080p, you don't need to go full spec'd out PC. I've seen so many times, even when I was working at Centacom as a service manager there, right? These guys had baller PCs. I'm talking about thousands of dollars, right? Running on a 1080p screen. I'm not talking about playing full FPS games. It was like, CSGO or whatever it was then. I'm talking about they're playing AAA titles on a 1080p screen where the GPU can probably do like 3 or 4 4K monitors. It was this ridiculous amount of just overkill. So it can work regardless whether. Yeah. All right. That's enough on the spec side. Do you want to go ahead with the future changes?
Yeah, so I mean, most of these have already been covered, and that's why the containers are going to be automatically opened on you.
Yep.
But these containers, the German Cruiser Premium, Soviet Era Premium, and Jackerland and Premium containers, are going to have the content of them is going to change. If you want to look at more of that, you can look at the development blog. Basically, they're changing, but we'll probably talk more about that for 13.9.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
There's
um,
still event. There's still will events. I haven't seen anything of this. So the new, sorry, still will event the take place of update 13.11 as usual. The event allows you to buy steel ships and other goodies. Players will be able to obtain the Hoffman. It's a George. Is it the George Hoffman? Prince van Orange. I'm saying that wrong, but and the Chikuma 2. Oh, there's a Chikuma 2.
apparently.
Only during the update of 13.11, while the Archfish and the Shanana will be available during the Steel Wool event. They become permanently available in the armory after the events. So, yeah, there you go.
All right. I did have one thing here. Problem of the game is that they don't provide enough port slots on ships. Are a lot nowadays.
Mm,
I mean, there's a couple of things about that I would state. If you can get ships during pre-releases, like the early access, you don't need port slots. So that's a great way
mm,
to get a ship and not need a port slot. But if you ever do need port slots, don't buy them individually. Save up your doubloons, get to 1,500 doubloons, go into the armory, go to ships, go to the port slots, buy a pack of 5. I think they're actually 1,200 doubloons.
oh,
Actually,
really?
1,200 doubloons for 5 port slots. I think it's 5 port slots, which means that you're paying for 4 port slots and getting one free. I think that's what it
Okay.
is, or is
Oh,
it?
there you go.
I can't remember what it is exactly, but yeah, you basically you end up with a port slot free,
Yeah.
for it. I'm pretty sure it was 5, and you pay for the price of what you would normally pay for 4 if you paid for them individually. So
Mm,
it's a way to get a free port slot if you desperately need port slots. Um, you don't want to spend your doubloons on slots, then you'll just have to wait until you get free slots in event passes when they come out.
pretty much.
Um,
Exactly right.
so yeah,
There you go. There you go.
all right.
All right. So now let's go. I'm just going to go back to the dual camera. Get away from the screen. Yeah. All right. So that actually pretty much covers up to 13.8, bit of 13.9, 13.10, as well as what's coming out 13.11. So we'll with our next obviously episodes of Ship Talk, we'll discussing those future updates when they do come across. Let's get rid of 13.8 now and get back into clan battles eventually. So King of the Sea. That was a 3 weekends in a row. Very
Yes,
interesting. Very interesting.
absolutely.
Um,
All right.
yeah,
So and you co-casted with Admiral Revan and Shin.
yes, I
How
did.
how
Yep.
how was that for you? I mean, I've casted before and played at the same time. But
Yep.
how was actually casting COTS?
Well, it was my first time casting it, and yep. Oh, look, I've got to say, I actually did really enjoy it. There was obviously some bits there. You just, yeah. For me, it was very like I was very unaware that the sort of games that we're coming across, obviously the teams that we're playing as well, the sort of casting style I should introduce into obviously for myself really. Um, I really enjoyed it, and when the game sort of got heated up, it actually did build up a lot. I just don't know in regarding to if how people's reactions to sort of my casting style with it, but I just went with the flow, tried it my best at how to do it, and just looked at the gameplay itself from a different perspective. And I think for you and I in particular would be because we call out during our clan battles, it actually becomes more natural, when you're seeing
Yes.
ships, what's happening on the map and everything else, because you're very self-aware on what's happening on the clan or what's happening on the mini map. And then when you're casting a match, that becomes the sort of effect as well. So it sort of became natural for me to sort of actually tell the viewers what is actually going on at the time. But no, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Aries winning at the end, that was really good. That was, we thought RSTC were going to take it out. They won 2 games in a row. They actually won 3 games in a row before, and then they went up against Aries. They won the first 2 games, and I said, "Oh, here we go. It's going to be 1 game out, and we're done." But Aries came back 3 games and just took it all out, and yeah, won it, which was good.
So
But yeah.
I just want to say I heard you got some advice from some veteran streamers as well of COTS. Is there
Yeah,
anything that
Overlord. Yeah.
anything that really stood out as some good advice that you felt helped you during this?
Oh, 100%. So it was Overlord Bo. Him and I were discussing in a private chat. And yeah, we decided to call each other. This is discuss obviously because obviously he was streaming it as well. And it was particularly with the movement because I was trying to cover most of the map. So I had to sort of slow that down. And his idea was to just use the map screen. You guys just use the map screen and give that overview for the viewers to actually see the entire map and let them have a look at. And then if there's something happening in the map or happening in the game that's really exciting, either torps or two ships are going to go into a brawl quickly into it, then obviously zoom into there. So you would have seen that the last weekend because I spoke to Bo on the Thursday of the last weekend, and that's where I changed the sort of strategies and how I was doing it. The issue I did have primarily is because I am running on a 4K screen, uh, was the sort of resolution downscaling to 1080p as well as the was it the GUI going to I was sitting on about 120. I have to bump it up to all the way 200 so everyone can see obviously what sort of ships they were, name tags, and everything else. So when I'm playing on my own, it's 120 or even 100 because I like it to have I want pretty much just ship and battle scenes. I don't need to see the UI, but when you're streaming it, you've got to blow it up, obviously blow it up for everyone else to have a look at and and view at the same time. So yeah, but overall, I really did enjoy it, and it was one of those things that I would love to do again. It is hard, obviously. Like I wouldn't say hard, but it is time consuming to perspective. You have to block out 3 weekends in a row, and you have to make sure that you've got everything on board. And OBS, it's literally Wargaming's OBS. They give you a whole
Yes.
Wargaming file with all the stuff on there, ready to go. It didn't work most of the time, but I got it working, and so did Revan as well. He had issues as well. I had to actually reinstall Warships at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. I had to delete it because it wouldn't even load. I had to delete it and then reinstall it. And I just got it back on I think about 3:30 and tested it all up. It was all working, all good, and I was happy. So apart from that, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. What about yourself? What are your thoughts of the parts you got to watch?
Um, I mean, there was some very good games there. I didn't get to watch as much as I potentially would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
I think a key thing I noticed, and I listened to a couple of different streams during it,
Mm-hmm.
is it is paramount when you're streaming it to not assume that people can see what you're looking at.
Right.
Um, or that because even though you're potentially the one who's streaming, especially when you're sorry, I should make that clear. When you're co-streaming with someone, you should never make the assumption that people can see what you're looking at. And this is not necessarily targeted at yourself, but
Mm-hmm.
there are streamers out there who have this way of talking about what they're looking at without actually telling people what they're looking at. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you did it very well, and Overlord Bo definitely does it very well as a veteran streamer, making
Yep.
sure that it is clear what you're actually looking at before you say what's happening about what that situation. Um, Instantly saying, "Oh, he's about to take torps," doesn't tell this to people who are just listening on
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
else's stream what that situation is, and it doesn't help for the cohesiveness. So I think there's an important factor there to
Mm.
do with it, and it does impact. Unfortunately, it does impact not only the person who is streaming that, but the people who are being co-streamed with.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I think that the getting good advice from veteran streamers is very useful. I think but the gameplay itself, if we go into that, was incredible. I watched
Mm.
those final battles, and um, it was very interesting watching the ship selection. I'm not
Mm.
sure. I'm not sure I like 9v9
Mm-hmm.
in COTS.
Yep.
Um, it differentiates from clan battles a lot, and if we're using clan battles as one of the factors for qualification, for COTS
Yeah.
going forward, which is something which they were talking about, that you would have to do that. Although I'm not sure they'll do that for NA because they struggle to get enough teams to actually play on NA anyway.
They had the least,
Um,
they had the least teams. NA had the least teams.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I know that we got approached, or I got approached, basically begging for our clan to go into COTS, and
Oh, really?
I had to say, nope, sorry, we're not
Mm,
interested.
yeah.
So they wanted VAF to compete in COTS because we've competed in the past, and we just
Yeah.
went,
Yeah.
no, not this time, thanks. So obviously they were struggling, but yeah, I think I'd prefer to see it either 6v6 or a 9v9. Sorry, not 7v7, not 9v9. 9v9's getting close to just a random battle.
Mm,
And I think there was a lot of gameplay where people were more sitting back. I think
mm.
7v7 and 6v6 encourages a little bit more push,
Brawly. Yeah.
and a bit more brawly, and you see the teams actually pushing up and actually being that competitiveness in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was a lot of games where you saw people go in, try and get a cap, and then run away,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
engage, because
Or reverse into the cap.
yeah, it's just that too many ships that it's easy to get flanked.
And
And
look,
yeah.
they gave us ideas though.
Oh yes.
There was a few things that I was saying. I'm like, we are definitely using this. Like, there was opportunities where you can look at it and, like, even just the way they pan their ships out, right? So we've got a habit, obviously, and we did see this a few times. You can tell the clans that have they've jumped into COTS thinking it's more of a clan battle style, not a battle
Hmm.
itself, where you got the heavy side and the light side split. And I
Yes.
saw that a few times, right? What I saw mainly is the ships literally lining up all along this this one big line of ships.
Hmm.
That's all it was, and that gave, and the way they put their strategy is where, using example like, cruiser DD and then a battleship, and then the cruiser's got radar, then then you got like DD battleship and so forth, and then you've got another one on top of that, and then thank you so much for the follow. And then you got like another radar. So the radars cross over each other, right? And then using the Ragnar to go into the middle cap, for example, right? It was literally blanketing the whole area full of radar, not allowing those other ships to come down or to attack you from that side. That strategy was a fantastic strategy I've seen in a few times, and obviously they started copying each other. Another one was when they used to go go up here, and then they used to border hump with like three or four ships, border hump right around, come and then flank them straight off. Right, that only worked twice. The other ones that tried to do it were the only ones. And then yes, don't know why. And I don't know if you did see this also. For some reason, they were bringing San Martins in, and just one cap on their own, and they got literally demolished. I don't know what strat that is, or why they kept doing it. And different clans were doing it, right?
Yep.
They literally bring up one San Martin up against like three or four ships.
Yep.
It was only once that I saw it was a San Martin versus the San Martin on one cap. Far from that, for some reason they were using San Martins on, would have been, I reckon it was North the most time they used it. It was a single cap on its own, and literally it was just one ship versus three other ships. And I don't know what strat they were using with the San Martin, and exactly what Gunn was saying for some reason. I don't know what it was. They literally just get another ship. Just use something else if you're going to use one ship against that flank on its own. But yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back to the 9v9. I think it also caused some other issues that people didn't realize, because if you do 7v7, normally most clans can have some spare players in case somebody can't participate. 9v9 starts to make it a lot harder for some clans, because as we would know from clan battles, we struggle to field full teams. It basically means that you have to be a big clan with a big lot of people to be able to compete in it. And I think that massively impacted the NA server. That's why they had so few clans. There are clans there that would struggle to field a 9v9. Like
yeah.
I'm sure that was one of the reasons why VAF didn't participate, was because of the 9v9. They would be able to easily identify 7 players that they would want to play together, but to
Mm,
identify 9 people that are available
mm,
consistently is going to be hard
true.
on the weekends, because even though it's a big and active clan, it
Yeah,
just doesn't have 9 people that they would want to safely go out and do a COTS
yeah,
tournament
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
9v9.
Mm.
So yeah, I think they made mistakes with that. I hope to see the next time they do COTS that it's back to a 6v6 or a 7v7. But yeah, and I think it will change the strategies as well. Um, I would also, I guess, I'm not quite sure how, and because I wasn't really heavily involved in it, I'm not quite sure if the players themselves had what do you say, press accounts for it, or whether they were using their own accounts. Do
We're
you
using
know
our own accounts.
that well, you were for the streaming, but were the players as well?
For the players, I'm unaware of that.
Okay.
There was nothing. There was nothing in Discord, in the COTS Discord, even the like any of the streamer chats or so forth, saying that they were using press accounts or anything like that at all.
Because yes, players had press accounts. Nice. Okay, thanks.
Mm.
Thanks, Red. Yeah, because that makes a huge difference. Because my concern was when they were banning the like alternate ships of like the Kleber,
Yep.
CLR, and all those sorts of
Napoli.
things. Is if you only had that ship, then it would be a problem. But if they were using press accounts again, that's fine. It doesn't
Yep.
matter my argument on that. I understand the logic then of banning the alternate ships. Although then again, is it really necessary? Because if you're
Mm.
giving press accounts and you say a Colbert ban is a Colbert and a Colbert CLR ban, you know, sort of thing,
Yep. Yep.
is no different to just saying we're banning the
Well,
alt
we
ones.
had
But
one game. We had one game where one clan was using a banned ship, so they had to stop it
oh
and
yeah,
reset it again. So that actually did happen. I just want to answer Justin's sort of response here,
yep,
going back to the San Martin, right? So he goes, the role of the San Martin is to delay as long as possible and use the gimmick heal. From what I saw was being played wrong. I don't think that ship should have ever been used on that flank at all,
no,
regardless of its massive heal that it's got. It was literally a waste of time and a waste of it. It's literally a waste of a player, a waste of time. Having that ship, even trying to, because it never worked. As soon as we saw the San Martin, all 3 of us knew that that ship's going to go first, and literally it did die first. Regardless of you using it right or wrong or however they wanted to try and use it, it came to the fact that it was the wrong strategy for COTS completely.
yep,
That was my personal opinion. But obviously people had obviously
yep.
what Justin's saying
I,
now. It was just played wrong, but I don't know.
I have a couple of COTS comments on my stream now as well. So
Mm-hmm.
COTS used to be something that people looked forward to as it was a community event. Now it's just another
Mm,
wargaming thing. I do kind of agree with that. I think the I understand the advantages of it being a wargaming event. It has a bigger backing in it, but at the
mm-hmm.
same time, now we have them sort of messing with it in terms
Yeah.
of like making it the 9v9,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that. And I think that the way that it was worked. Don't mess
Mm-hmm.
with the formula that was there. I understand trying to reinvigorate it and try and think. But at the
Mm,
moment, I don't think this standard work. And the other comment is ELSR took a Napoli B and lost that map because of it. And this is where I
mm,
said I do not agree that Napoli B should have been banned for the Napoli. Now, if you say Napoli is banned, it should ban Napoli and Napoli B. It shouldn't be
mm,
exclusive. But to begin with, the Napoli B should not have been banned, because what's wrong with taking a Napoli B versus taking a Napoli? I don't understand the difference, but the ships are the same.
mm,
If you say I'm banning the Napoli, because each team gets to ban, what is it, 4 ships?
mm-hmm.
So if you say as a team I'm banning the Napoli, it's banning both the Napolis, in my opinion. If I'm banning Colbert, I'm banning both Colberts. And that's what it should be. It should be a blanket on all of them. But it creates other problems if you just say these ships are banned because they are alternates or whatever. But it is what it is. KoTs is Wargaming owned, but it's still pretty much community run. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Look, it is. Look,
It's
look.
it's
The background shit that
with.
I seen, it is very volunteer run, I should say.
Oh yes.
So yeah, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what internationals are gonna bring. Speaking of what's that internationals are gonna bring now? Do you want to talk about the prize money? $100,000.
Yeah.
So it's $100,000 prize pool for KoTs International this year. They haven't split up. They haven't told us the stages on where or how much money is going to be split between the clans. On obviously going from first or whatever. I'm not even sure what's from first or last or top 5, top 10, whatever it's going to be. But the actual prize pool for KoTs International this year is $100,000, which is, I'm going to say it's pretty good. Regardless what it is. Look, the one that wins KoTs has got to at least win 25,000, maybe 30. If it's anything less than that, it's stupid.
Oh yeah. The bans increased during the course of the tournament. By playoffs, it was 4 ship bans per team. It made planning strats a nightmare. I mean, the interesting thing about that is I know that the ship bans have been there since before Wargaming took over KoTs though, because it was there the year I played and Wargaming didn't wasn't in charge of KoTs when I played.
Yeah.
But I would say that it is possibly something which I would say could go. I understand the logic in it, but if each team just can work out their strat and just play their own strat, then they may have to adjust if their strat doesn't work against whatever the other team picks. But if you don't have ship limitations, then people can take the ships that they're comfortable with. But it's a 6-to-1, half a dozen the other as well. It's like, does it add to it or does it subtract from it? Like, I know that we saw battles where they got rid of basically all the radars, which meant that your strategy was very different. And so then I think you would have to see what happens, and I think that we'll see what happens in the future with it. But yeah.
All right, so teams will be expected to confirm their participation by Friday, September 6th, obviously, which is in 2 days now. And the final roster will be on September 9th at 6 p.m. Keep in mind the penalties for roster changes in case of a team is unable to do so. The next team will be selected. So they've got a few days to make sure that they are confirmed for KoTs International, and then they will have we'll have the proper dates and so forth in regard to when they're going to be playing on. I know I've actually got it in the Discord, the dates itself, but they are still not 100% confirmed.
Okay.
So yeah,
it's supposed to be in November, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But there was a brackets in there confirming dates.
Okay.
100%.
Yep.
So there is a date in there. They're still just 100% confirming, making sure everything's going to go ahead and everyone's going to be doing what they should be doing.
And the international will have 24 teams in total playing in it.
That's correct.
8 from each of the different servers.
Yeah. So I'll open this one up now so you guys can have a look at. So I'm going to go back to the share screen. So these are the final qualification points for King of the Seas. So you've got the Asia ranking here, you've got the EU in the middle here, and the NA ranking here as well. So this is exactly what happened. Obviously, we mainly did the Asia. I didn't do NA or EU. So it went from Aries to ATFD, RSTC, ELSR, NFG, JC, VOR, and STCN. There are the top 8. So the top 8 is the one that's going to be going ahead to KoTs International. So they'll be representing Asia. And then you got the EU. And then NA. So if you look at how many clans are in Asia, look how many clans are in EUs. I think they both are at 27. And NA only brought in 21 clans for the entire for their side of their KoTs qualifiers. So yeah, so it is always the first top 8 that qualified to KoTs International. So yeah, but end of the day, it was actually really, really, really good to see so many plans. There's YKKZ. They're the two we had, those two clan members we had yesterday in our
Oh yes.
randoms. Yeah. Yeah, no, they were actually really good. Even though where they ended up was all right. But yeah, in the actual KoTs itself, they did play really well. I'll give them that. I'll definitely give them that. But yeah, I think that's going to sort of finish up for talking tech for this week. I don't think there's any questions in the Discord, so we'll have to skip that. But we'll have some personal channel updates at this stage. So during KoTs, I actually did hit over 3,700 followers, and it was my Twitch anniversary. I didn't even realize it was my Twitch anniversary. I've been streaming since 2017 on Twitch, and just to maybe post it up maybe for next week. It's my 40th birthday next week, so I'm probably doing a birthday stream of some sort or just a stream. But I'll let you guys know more probably in the later of this week or over the weekend if that's going to happen. What about yourself, Ozzo?
Yeah. Well, not sure.
No updates?
No real updates from me. Although I should be on this weekend. I think actually no, there is a pretty major update. For those who haven't seen, I now have a green screen.
Sure
And
do.
so we're gonna sort this out. So you'll see on both of our screens, both of us have backgrounds on each other's screens.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and sort that out so that we can actually take advantage of this full green screen setup.
Correct, yeah.
But that's something which we just hadn't got around to sorting. I sorted this out last weekend. So my inspiration for doing this was partly for this ship talk, but also partly because I needed to reconfigure my room here to be a processing place for my business that I'm working on. Yeah, exactly.
You
But
can't see what's behind him.
ooh, yes. But anyway, that's where we're going. We're gonna work on improvements still with that. And yeah. Still have to figure out if I'm playing internationals. Might get subbed out on my team. Okay.
Oh, really? That's not good.
Which clan are you in, Snow? Is that OnlyFans Ginger Edition? Oh god. Hey,
Awesome, Justin.
at least I'm wearing pants.
That's it.
That's-
I was going to say this quickly. Thanks for a follow, Newfie.
Well,
Much appreciated.
nice.
All right. So, apart from that, that's just pretty much going to go. So, I've actually got one question for you, Ozzo. And
Sure.
be honest, it's a personal question from you to me, right? What were your thoughts on my first time casting KoTs?
My thoughts on your first time.
Yeah.
I think you did fine. I think you did great. I think that you had some issues in the first weekend that you sorted. I think you had some things which you learnt from Bo. Obviously, there's always ways to improve, and this is something which even Bo can do. So
Yep.
you know, even a veteran at it can always find ways to improve. Your clan is KSD. Nice. You can always find ways to improve. And yeah, I think I think you did great.
Yeah.
I think that I think there's things that I don't really want to say on here.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that side. I'm talking about in particularly regarding just to, and don't be wrong, like for me, and even for the viewers, right? I take criticism well in regarding to if it's good, bad, or whatever it is, right? Because at the end of the day, if I'm doing I am just talking about myself here, right?
Yep.
If I'm doing something that's sort of is, how can I say it? Like not right, but like obviously if it's annoying or if it's an issue or whatever the thing is, right? I would rather know and say, let's fix it because I'd rather fix the issue, sort it, and move on then just say straight out. Look, when I was talking to Bell about this, and I was asking the question, like, and he goes, look, your knowledge is great. He goes, obviously, there's a few little concerns here with the camera and so forth. Probably a few terminology we can probably fix up a bit better. But he was talking about all three of us at the time. But it was particularly more, you know, it was very not sort of nerve wracking to a sort of sense, but like the issue was because I was very unaware. I've only watched KoTs a couple of times, and it's only been a few games here and there. It wasn't like a full tournament that I actually full. This was literally the first full tournament I've actually sat there and, obviously apart from watching, I was casting it. Yeah, it was a good. It was just an experience for me to do, but also I would like to learn off it if there's anything obviously that I can make things better. Because at the end of the day, me casting is not just it's not just for me. It's obviously for everyone else to view as well at the same time.
I
So that's why I
guess
saw it.
I guess my comment though with that was more to say, I think the biggest problem for you, the biggest deficiency for you, is not how you are doing things. It's
Mm,
how it's how people are bouncing off you with it.
okay.
So my feeling is to improve your stream of
Mm,
casting COTS is to have somebody who can complement the way that you stream rather than I would say that it wasn't complementary.
mm,
I'd say that it's a different stream style. I'm not going to say that
mm.
it's a negative stream style. I'm just going to say it's not complementary to the way that you stream, if that makes sense.
Sort of. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that's a key thing is when you're casting something and you're working in it, you need to have people who are complementary to that. And you can see that in everything. You can see that in
Mm,
AFL commentary. You can see that in NRL commentary. If you don't
mm,
have the right combination of people doing commentary, then it doesn't gel properly, then it doesn't work.
mm.
And I feel like
Okay.
there was a lacking of, I feel like at times that, and as I said, I don't want to say too much about this, but
Mm,
I feel like there was a lack of gelling in the team that you had doing the
mm.
casting. And like from my opinion, this is going to be an interesting one for you. I would feel like you would almost gel better with Overlord Bo. In terms of the way that you cast and the way that he casts.
Mm,
And that would probably be more complementary. Because I feel like there was there's different ways of doing it. If that makes
all right.
sense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I understand, and I appreciate. I appreciate that. Obviously, just that constructive criticism, and obviously, we're not going to go too much into it. It was,
Yeah,
yeah. And all honestly, like even for you guys, like the viewers from both channels, right? If I am doing it, I would rather have, you know, and I was getting it. Don't get me wrong. People DM me obviously on Discord, even just our group and so forth, and people that we know in our clan, and just friends of friends of friends, and it was obviously there was good. There was good some good stuff, and there was some stuff like, oh, can you fix this, or change this around and so forth. And I did, and I adjusted it. But I'm not going to say, like, well, I'm doing it. It's just how I do it. I don't give a shit. You guys deal with it, because at the end of the day, if you guys aren't receiving it good, then I feel that why do it? What I mean? I'm not going to do it for the sake of doing it. I want to make sure that it's going good on both ends. I'm enjoying it, and you guys are enjoying what you're seeing at the same time, and that's the whole point behind it.
I got a comment in my channel, and it kind of rings on what I was trying to say here. It should be called as if you're on the radio, which PC did and others didn't. Um, and I think
Mm,
that's kind of where I go with it. There was a difference in how you call it. Um,
mm-hmm,
there was the um, you can see what's happening, calling it individually, and then there was the way you were calling it, where I could, if I wanted to be, I could be at the back of the room,
mm,
and not looking at my screen and know what was happening. And
okay.
that needs that complementary person to be able to call the rest of it the same way, so that
Yeah,
people know
yeah,
what's happening. Um,
yeah.
so
Well, that's fair
yeah,
enough. That's fair enough. All right, let's do the last giveaway for ship talk, and we'll Oh no, it's 20 past 11. We'll try and get a few games in here.
yeah. It's been a long one.
It's been a long one. It's been a long one. All right, so I'll do my giveaway first. If you haven't entered, I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to get into it. So it's explanation mark enter, and it is for another signal container.
And I'll do
Um,
mine after PC does his, and then we'll jump into some games.
That's it. That's it. We might just go for a quick 1 or 2 minute break, and then we'll jump straight in. We'll
Absolutely.
obviously we're gonna go Asia, yeah.
Yeah, Asia.
Yeah, so we got Asia. So we got one div spot. So if anyone wants to enter, get into the Asia account now. And yep, it's first in, first serve pretty much. We'll be starting from tier 5 and moving up.
And
Alright.
make sure you guys join the Ship Talk Discord. The Ship Talk Discord is where you can add comments. So we will normally have a session at the end of each where we'll talk about comments that have been put on the Discord. So if
Mhm.
you want to add comments or ask questions or have topics talked about, please chuck
Yep.
it on the Discord. We want feedback. We want information there so that we can make this the ultimate ship talk show that is on
Correct. Yeah.
on Twitch and
Yeah.
hopefully on YouTube as well.
Well, we do it for you guys. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we do it because we do what it is. Ozzo and I discuss these sort of things, but it was off stream. We're just in Discord, just talking shit, really. That's the reason why it's called Ship Talk. So it's shit talk. But we thought the idea of obviously having this discussion with you guys here as well, because it's giving out the ideas. Maybe you didn't know. Obviously some people don't even read up on the updates and so forth. It just comes out, they start playing it and so forth. But now it's giving you a place for you guys to come here and discuss it with us and bring up your concerns or, yep, you're excited for this, this part of the update and so forth. It's going to be, we want to continue this for a very, very long time. All right, I'm going to draw the entrant. 1 second. It is with me 94.
All right, guys.
Are you with me?
I see that Justin has asked us to put a schedule somewhere on the Discord. Yep, we'll try and get a schedule up on the Discord. Now, I think we announced that it is going to be fortnightly, is the plan. However, we will adjust the schedule based on the patch days as well. So that may mean that it might be we do fortnightly and then we do a week to get onto patch day, and then we go fortnightly after that. We'll play it by ear and try and work out how it best works.
Yeah, that's it.
So, all right, I'm gonna quickly do my prize draw then.
Go for it.
Give me a second. And the winner is Thunder. Thunder 130882. Please say something in chat.
Nice. All right.
Never lucky, Zave. Unfortunate. You're not even in. You don't even have an account, do you?
All right, guys. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to the outro. Oh, no. Do we have the outro?
I don't have an outro.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
all right,
Zave, you
so,
need one.
yeah.
Thunder still hasn't claimed his prize yet.
Oh, he hasn't?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll wait for that. All right, we're waiting for that. I'm just going to get to be right back. So we will set up for getting into the game. I'm just going to go and grab another drink while I'm there, and we'll get back into this.
Yep. So TA, we won't be changing the day because of clan battles. The plan is with it, is that ideally we want to make sure that on clan battle nights, when we're doing it, that we can try and keep to an hour. So yes, it will go half an hour into clan battles, but the idea is it will finish ship talk half an hour into clan battles, and then we'll go into clan battles. So that is the actual plan. So we're hopefully going to streamline this a little bit more and get it down to that hour. That is the goal. But today was a big one because it was 13.8 release.
Yeah.
But we will try and do that. Thunder still has not claimed his prize, so I'm going to redraw.
As well, also too, the reason why we do start at that time because I do train my son's soccer team. So
yes,
that's one of the reasons why I was late tonight, or the reason why I was late tonight. So once they finish up their season, then we'll be having a bit more of a break. So we might be able to start ship talk a lot earlier, and then move forward onto that. So we'll be able to get into clan battles, not a problem at all. Thank you very much for the follow, much appreciated. to Alicia VRC3. Much
Well,
appreciated.
well done, Red. Please whisper me in Twitch, and I will send you the code
Yep.
in Twitch. So,
All right. So
awesome.
I'm going to go to the Be Right Back screen.
Yep.
We'll be back. Give us like a couple of minutes and we'll get into,
Yep. We'll see you
Asia.
in about 5-10 minutes.
No worries.